guys, welcome back to this channel. This is a quick video of my October favorites. Quick because I don't have many favorites compared to the last video. So let's just get into it. I have an itch. My number one favorite of this month, October, is this book, The 4 Agreements. It's by Miguel Ruiz. I hope I said that right. So if you are a spiritual seeker, then this book is a must in your personal library. It has summarized 4 agreements or 4 rules of life, of living, that if you employ in your life on a day-to-day basis, on a moment-to-moment basis, really, as it says, a practical guide to personal freedom. So you will feel freer. A lot of these spiritual concepts or these spiritual experiences are difficult to articulate in words because so much of it is on your own personal experience of it. Just 4 things to remember in your everyday living. And if you haven't read any other spiritual book, I wouldn't really recommend starting with this one, even though it's a very easy to read book. It's a very quick read because there's a lot of symbolism in this. There's a lot of metaphorical language. So if you haven't read other books, maybe this might be a little bit difficult to grasp. The only thing which I don't like about this book, which I have noticed in other similar genre of books as well, is that their distorted human ego is referred to in a very like for example, in this book it's referred to as a parasite, and which I understand the essence of. I understand why it is referred to as a parasite, because the distorted human ego is basically insanity, and so I get that, but I also feel that it's fear-based language when you're just equating something which is in all of us to a monster, to a parasite. It's essential to realize that for yourself, that okay, I need to tame this parasite in my mind. But I personally don't really agree with fear-based language. At least I don't currently in my life experience. So other than that, but of course it's full of depth, this text. And out of the 4 agreements, my personal favorite agreement, which I have thought about a lot since I read this book and have employed it in my everyday thinking, my everyday living, my everyday behavior, is to not take anything personally. It's such a simple thing, but if you apply this rule to every situation, life is going to just start flowing. It's going to become really easy and light. Like, no matter what happens, whatever the situation you're in, whatever somebody says to you, somebody criticizes you, or you have an accident, or things don't turn out to be the way you had expected them to, just don't take it personally. Nothing is happening to you. Like, this also softens the victim mentality that it's very easy to have because it's so prevalent in the collective consciousness. So yeah, it's simple. Just don't take anything personally. If nothing goes your way, it's nothing personal. That's all I can say. And this can be applied to something as like the weather even. If you wanted to go out and it starts raining, don't take it personally. It doesn't matter. So they're very, it's a simple thing, don't take it personally, but once you start contemplating it, you realize that you can literally apply it to anything in life and you'll be free of anxiety, you'll be free of stress and worry. And obviously it's easier said than done because you have to train your brain, you have to train your mind to think this way, to believe this way. My next favorite is something very different. It's a mobile game and it's called Florence. It's a really refreshing game, very different than anything else I've played. It's a narrative game. It's about a girl who's working this job which she obviously is not really aligned with. It's just a job for the sake of having a job. And her real passion is art and painting. So the narrative as it progresses through the game is her at her current job, which is completely out of alignment. She falls in love, and how her life moves on through that is like, I don't want to give too much away, but as a user, you are, you know, interacting with her story, with these different interactions and different, you know, gestures on the screen. And I've had this game in my mobile for a very long time, but I just played it recently and I finished it in one go. It's like watching a film, but you're also part of it. It has very sweet music, and the illustrations are very cute, and the animation is cute, and a creative experience, I guess you can say. My third favorite from this month is the song from Coke Studio, which maybe you've already heard of, but it's Atif Aslam's Wahi, I can't speak, Wahi Khuda Hai. It was just a synchronistic moment because I had been singing this song on and off this year. Just it had been in my mind, in my consciousness for some reason, and then I found out that this song has been sung by Atif Aslam in this Coke Studio season, so I was like pretty excited. देखा ही बिना दिन सर कोई तो है जो निज़ाम हस्ती. Honestly, this is such good spiritual practice, at least in my experience, is listening to this song and literally just looking outside to the trees, to the sky, to the birds. It's like such a match made in heaven type. Like it gets the vibes going. For those who do not understand Urdu, the essence of the song is that there is an energy, a higher energy that is running the entire universe, that created the entire universe and is now basically itself in action as the universe. And whatever this life force energy is, this higher intelligence, infinite intelligence energy is God, is the creator. Even though we cannot see the energy, but we can feel it, we can sense it, because we're literally it, we're part of it. And it speaks about intention. Intention is such a powerful force. Those who get into studying the law of the universe consciously, even those who don't, there is a powerful momentum behind an intention. When you set an intention, it's just magical things can happen. And this song does allude to that this energy, this life force energy, is well aware of our intentions. Law of attraction. My next favorite is an experience this year, this month, October. Samad and I went on holiday to the Dominican Republic. My friend is from there and she was getting married there. So it was a very different holiday than most other holidays because she had prepared our itinerary and we were hanging out with her as a local, which was just incredibly beautiful. And Dominican Republic is a beautiful country. First of all, their people are so friendly. And as soon as I went there, my first impression was that it's very similar to Pakistan in terms of we're both developing countries, where the infrastructure around is very similar to Pakistan. One thing which stands out is that there is like an infinite variety of trees, whether it be city or it be the outskirts or it be the mountains or it be the beach. There are ridiculously diverse ridiculously diversity. What is the English that I'm trying to communicate here? There is ridiculous diversity in their trees. Is something that I fell in love with, and I'm so tempted now to go back to Central America and then probably to South America as well, just purely for the trees. So beautiful. So there'd be like cityscape with houses, buildings, houses, buildings, cars, but all with these pockets, green pockets of trees. So yeah, their people are very friendly. They're very like chilled out. They're very relaxed. Like the vibe like that was very desi. Their people are very close knit with their families and friends. And the only difference, which was such a big difference, which is what I felt. Remember that whatever I'm saying is my experience of stuff, is that their women were just out everywhere. Like there was absolutely no gender discrimination, what I experienced as a tourist. Their women were seen everywhere. They were walking, crossing the roads by themselves, going grocery shopping by themselves, walking on the roads, working in banks, working in grocery stores, working at the airport. Like there was absolutely no difference between man and woman, other than the clothes they were wearing, honestly. And that was really refreshing. And everybody in DR can dance, like not just dance. They have rhythm, they have technique, they have groove. Anybody and everybody can like move to the beat and move their hips and do. My camera kind of nearly died in between, but it's back on. Yeah, so as an outsider, I felt like everybody in DR can like is a super dancer. A random person will pick up a random partner, but they will have so much collaboration, so much flow. Like they both would be able to predict the dance move, if that makes sense. So I was really mesmerized by that everybody can dance. Like even in Pakistan, we dance, but it's a very freestyle dance. We're not doing particular kind of dance that everybody is good at. It's just very freestyle. But they do the merengue. I said it in such an American way. Merengue. Anyway, you get it, right? So yeah, they're like everybody, the entire population is like super good at dancing. And everybody dances, kids, young people, older people, grandparents, you name it. And then the beaches, oh my god. Because, you know, we were lucky because our friend was taking us around. We went to non-touristy places and I could live there. Very, very pretty beaches and soft sand and snorkeling and just hammocks and I think I did a lot of earth healing, just literally just sitting on the sand and doing nothing and listening to the waves, or even sitting in the water and have the waves washed over me and just in the open sky. And there were also windmills in the distance, which added to the to the woke ambience of the setting. Met incredible people, made new friends, made incredible memories. We even went to the gym twice. The Airbnb that we were staying at had a gym in the building, so we went there twice. We went swimming. Like it was the perfect week, which ended with my friend's wedding, and we just like so overjoyed. Like there were moments when my heart was like, oh my god, this too much love, like this is so good. However, there were many moments when I felt deeply embarrassed that I do not speak Spanish. So next time I go to any Hispanic country, I will definitely learn Spanish before, at least some basic conversational, which I would advise if anybody is planning to go to do the same. Because Spanish is actually, if you can speak English, Spanish is not that far off. A shout out to my friend Carolina for organizing an amazing week for all of us. Also on our way to DR, we were faced with a few challenges by the universe. She was like, hey, what have you learned so far? Are you going to be victimized? Are you going to complain? Like, what have you learned in your spiritual development? We were connecting to DR from JFK and we couldn't get onto our original flight. The reason is that, which I had not experienced anywhere else, so it is a tip in case anybody of you is planning on doing the same. If you take a connecting flight from the US, you're just connecting, okay? You're not even entering the US, but you're connecting to somewhere else from the US. You need to have a valid US visa. It doesn't matter your connection is 1 hour long or 3 hours long or 12 hours long. It doesn't matter. You need to have a valid US visa to even take a connecting flight from America. Luckily, we had valid US visas, but we didn't know that this is a requirement. So we were literally at Heathrow. First of all, we never take flights from Heathrow because it's really far from where we live. But for some reason, I don't know why, we had our flights booked from Heathrow. So we did all the long commute to the airport, and it's about an hour and a half before the flight takes off, and you're being told that you cannot board because you don't have your valid US visa. So it was like, what the F? So that was clearly a test from the universe. Like, so we got onto a flight the next day, and which had a much longer layover at JFK. So we ended up going into New York City in just a couple of hours, which was very like, it was like almost like we were on an adventure. Like, it wasn't even planned, and now we were sitting in Central Park and looking at these gorgeous dogs all around. So it was worth it. I don't know, New York has a very different energy. It's nice, it's always nice to be in that sort of energy, even for a little bit of time. Okay, I think that's enough of my DR story. So I'm going to move on to the last favorite of this month, is a podcast recommendation. The podcast is Raw Spirituality. I listen to it on Spotify. This podcast really has been like my mentor, like my friend, because once you consciously go into, at least for me, again, whatever I speak is my experience. This is kind of like my journal. Once you consciously go on like the journey of spiritual development, there have been many moments where I felt like extremely lonely. Traditionally, when people develop their spirituality, as many have done in the past, many maybe still do, there's a guru, a teacher who has done the work on themselves. You know, they have raised their vibration, they've raised their frequency, possibly become enlightened. And so they've done the work, and now they've become a teacher, a mentor, a role model for other people to move forward or advance on their spiritual journey. I don't have a teacher or a guru or a mentor in human form, in person, but my books and podcasts have been like filling that role. Honestly, the topmost guru, the top teacher is the universe herself, and at least has been for me, just literally sitting in contemplation, in reflection, and asking the universe for guidance, for clarity, for direction, has been the best teacher ever. It's super helpful to have a human person who's more experienced, I guess. But if in the absence of a person, you can still do it. It's because I've done it and I'm doing it. Like, there's no end to it, honestly. When you ask the universe for guidance, it's like you realize it's you. You're the one who's guiding yourself. You're basically developing your intuition, your energy centers that respond to the natural rhythm of the universe. So you're kind of doing this dance really with the universe. But these things like books and podcasts are like your friends, are like, how do I explain it? Like, they're helping you move on, they're encouraging you. And I've always had this inclination towards spirituality my entire life, and it wasn't as overt as it is now. When I look back, when I think about it, that thing was always there. Because I had this question, or this thought was very dominant in my life, that morals and inner light and morals and how good of a person you are comes first, or it should come first. It should be highlighted more than how much you are praying traditionally. So in my opinion, I was like, if I'm not a good person, if I'm not embodying, like living the morals and codes that religions teach, then my prayers are not really fruitful. So I want to work on becoming a better person first, and that is my that is my priority. This was a thought that was dominant in my entire life, and as I grew older, it became more and more dominant. But now in the last year or so, it's like my spirituality or my spiritual development has been very conscious. It's like on a million steroids now. This is the work I want to do. So this podcast is really profound. It's a spiritual practice on its own. I listen to one episode and full attention. I'm not doing anything else. I used to listen to it at work as well when I was working, but now it's literally I turn it on and my full attention is in that moment listening to it. And I, especially in moments if I'm feeling lonely, if I'm feeling like lost, this has been really like refreshing, and they have a very helpful community online as well. So if this resonates with you, you can join that community as well. It's free, and it's basically a community of spiritual seekers. And even though I say the term spiritual seeker, it's not like an identity. There is no identity. There's no group. There's nothing of that. It's just to make sense of it more for our mind that obviously works on labels. Yeah, that's it. I feel like I've been babbling a lot. I should set a timer for my videos next time, because yeah. Thanks for listening, and have an awesome day, evening, night. Adios, muchachas.